Hi, everybody, and it's Dr. Dion here to share tip number 3 on Dr. Dion's dozen tips on networking. So this tip is all about questions and asking the right questions. So many times I go to networking functions and people come up and they'll start asking questions, but you can tell that they're actually leading questions to, go for the sale, which actually kind of irritates me. So I'm just going to share some triggers for some questions that you can ask at your next networking function. So I like to think about the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how. Okay, so who? Basically, you first go to the networking function and say it's a new one that you've gone to. You can say, so who do you know here? And you can say, I'm actually new. So who do you know here that might be an interesting person to get to know? What? You can ask them, so aside from working, and you can look at their card and see that they might be, say, a digital designer, what do you do to help balance your work life? So that could be a very simple conversation about work-life balance, which every small business and entrepreneur person seems to have a challenge with. So where? A simple question about where could be, where's a good place to get a cup of coffee and to sit and work where there's also good free Wi-Fi. So that's a very common question in today's very nomad kind of lifestyle. Everybody's looking for a good cup of coffee and or tea or juice and some good Wi-Fi. So we got the who, the what, the where, when. A question for when could be, when do you find is your busiest time of the year for doing business? You could be in a seasonal location, and sometimes people may think that, say in the fitness industry, that going into spring is a very busy time. Yet in some places, going into winter is the busiest time because people want to move their physical activity indoors because it's too cold outside. So you have the who, the what, the where, the when, and then lastly, the how. And how could be a very simple question of, how do you find this networking function for getting business or gaining friends or whatever your goal is to go to this networking function? Remember, networking functions are not just business oriented. Everyone we meet is actually an opportunity to expand your network, and that can be either in business, as we're talking here, or in recreation, or just personal interests. All right, so tip number 4 is all about asking appropriate questions at the networking functions to help start having the conversations and the continuing relationships. Thanks very much for your time, and I look forward to you listening for the next tip. Oh, and by the way, if you want to have some other questions that you can ask, go to my personal website at drdion.com/resources, and you can download a page of questions that you can use at your next networking function.